Back to the Future is one of the most beloved films of the 80s and has since aged into a timeless masterpiece. It follows teenager Marty McFly when he accidentally goes on a journey 30 years into the past with the use of his scientist friend's time-traveling car. Marty must find a way to get back to the future, while also figuring out how to ensure his parents meet and fall in love so that he won't cease to exist. It sounds like a complex story, right? Anything involving sci-fi and time travel is going to come across as complicated and intricate. But what makes this film so wonderful is that it communicates its conflicts and themes in a very simple way, stripping away the elaborate science that usually defines the sci-fi genre, and making the story revolve around its characters and lessons. Real quick, I make content on all different types of movies. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Very early in the film, we're introduced to Marty's family. We see how Marty's father is a passive and helpless man who is continuously bullied by his supervisor, and his mother is depressed and suffers from alcohol dependency. Marty repeatedly sees his parents disrespected. Mr. Strickland states that his father never amounted to anything.
McFly, you don't have a chance. You're too much like your old man. No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
And Biff blatantly mocks his dad in front of him. Even Marty's siblings are socially awkward. It's clear that Marty feels slightly ashamed of his family and does not want to grow up to be like his parents.
Jesus, I'm starting to sound like my old man. Come on, he's not that bad.
In just a few scenes, we're given enough exposition to set up the themes of repression and fate, which will carry the movie. Fast forward, or I guess fast backwards, to when Marty travels back to 1955. Marty unintentionally interrupts a key moment in his parents' meeting, and thus obstructs the start of their romance. He finds himself in an awkward yet hilarious love triangle between himself, his mom, and his dad. What's brilliant about this concept is that it's so straightforward and ironically easy to understand the emotions behind. Marty's uneasiness when his mother Lorraine flirtatiously leans towards him transcends the screen, and we, the audience, are hit by a wave of uncomfortability that helps us to be locked into the movie. Imagine a younger version of your parent starts talking to you in a coy way and sits very, very close to you. They're interested in you, in a sexual way. You probably just had a strong feeling of revulsion pass over you. And that's the cleverness of the storyline's writing. It's so strange, but it so easily connects you emotionally to it, even out of sheer discomfort.
It's an absolute dream.
Marty must then prevent the disappearance of him and his siblings by setting the timeline straight. There's still the conflict of Marty getting back to 1985, but he and Doc came up with a solution to that fairly quickly, leaving much of the film to focus on the part of the story that is less science-heavy and more in line with the themes they want to portray. Marty's father, George, is meek and insecure. He requires a lot of convincing to try and win Lorraine over.
But I can't go to the dance. I'll miss my favorite television program, Science Fiction Theater.
And at the end, he doesn't just do that, he confronts his bully. Because of the information we're given early in the film about Marty's family and his fears of turning out like them, George's character arc serves as more than just an endearing story about a boy who defeats his bully. Marty makes it back to 1985 and sees how that encounter between George and Biff changed the course of all of their lives. The confidence earned in that moment led George to become a successful author, Lorraine to be happier and healthier, and the rest of the children to flourish as well.
I always wear a suit to the office.
By combining a silly conflict about a love triangle between a boy and his parents with time travel, we're given a well-executed message about how repressed confidence and ambition will only lead you to an unfulfilling life. Back to the Future serves as proof that a sci-fi film doesn't have to be extravagant in its explorations of science to be profound. In fact, it's the more modest conflicts of being a normal human which help a story to be effective. Back to the Future doesn't take itself seriously. It uses humor and ridiculousness to develop its characters, and this is exactly why it stands so distinctly against the plethora of more heavy and intellectual sci-fi films. It's a feel-good movie that evokes every emotion in its audience, from excitement to intrigue to sadness to disgust.
But when I kiss you, it's like I'm kissing my brother.
So for a film that could easily feel dated due to the importance it places on time period, or overwhelming because its inciting incident deals with time travel, which is so outside of anything we've ever dealt with, Back to the Future does an excellent job at letting simplicity guide it to being a beloved classic.